Hamilton gonna be in the red zone tomorrow. What I noticed between the whole freaking thing of coronavirus, COVID-19, it sucks. It's horrible. What I have been noticing about it, if Toronto goes in the gray, Hamilton goes in the gray. If Toronto get like high number of cases, we get treated like we got high number of cases, or we don't. Like we have way, way less than Toronto, but why should we have to suffer here in Hamilton? It seems to be never ending. I see no number keep going up while in Toronto, and what to do? Well, this is really outrageous because Hamilton not be put in red because our numbers are not lower in Toronto. Toronto could be in red because the numbers are higher. It doesn't really make any common sense why Hilton and Hamilton have to be put in red. Hilton could be red, but not Hamilton. But it's ridiculous. This really freaking bothered me a lot. Why would Doug Ford say that? It's ridiculous. No, why can we have to suffer over Toronto high number? Because why do we have to suffer over stupid people affecting people in Toronto? That's it. Being sick and going affecting it. Why should we freaking suffer? That really pissed me off because now, Hamilton Tony probably gonna go down to Grimsby or St. Catharines. They're gonna be tons to go down there just to dine in because they won't be able to dine in here. They're forced to dine in down in St. Catharines. They're forced to go down there where they change services, including me. Because if I can't get the service here in Hamilton because of being red, I have to go all the way down Niagara. So that's stupid. I'm not fucking spending money. If I can't get the service here, I will put stuff on hold until hopefully if it goes in to mid-December, like I said, and we're going to extend it into mid-January. Then I got to go to London, everything done in London, Ontario, on my holidays because I won't be it done here. Well, if you live in London, I know how to do it. I know a place to go to get done, but at least there in Green, I get something done down there I can't get here. Well, that's going to be really a bummer. Because I know the worst part is I'm getting concerned too. If I go down London, they're going to say to me, well, you can't dine here. I'm sorry, Hamilton Gray, we can't do that in lockdown. Well, we can't serve because of Hamilton lockdown. Well, that's going to be really bummer me because I will raise hell mighty, but I was fucking, every time I get denied service at a restaurant in London, I'm going to start filing complaints of racism. I will phone the Better Business Bureau. I start making complaint after complaint. I will go here and write, I'll fucking file a complaint of racism, okay? It's plain and simple. It's racism. It costs a lot of time. Being refused service because you live in another city. That is not that is really bad. That's plain out racism right there. And I can see things that corporate own like Kelsey, they won't do it. Corporate owned wouldn't do that. It's a small mom and pop one would do something like that. Well, anyway, so honestly, I feel like I'm being victimized because people in Toronto keep infecting people, make their numbers high. We get victimized, we get penalized for this, we shouldn't have to be penalized, almost like we were put in a penalty box every time. And I'm not happy about it too. I'm a little pissed off of that too, and that really ticking me off because I need to do something about somebody. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, today. I may have to put it off until we come out of this freaking red zone again. And I don't even go. This really makes me angry. I'm frustrated because tomorrow essential travel. I have to get things done. I'm not gonna. Essential travel. I'm gonna have to do the whole home care aid trick just. So I can't, if I get pulled over, I have to do a home care act again. I don't like doing that. I have to do something called a home care, trick. Playing a home care person. Oh boy, I don't like doing that. Going to Willow, I fear of being pulled over. I have to keep my eye out all the time. I did this back in March. I got it back to it again. So keep my freaking eye out every freaking time, making sure the cop ain't around, because I getting nervous, of this. I mean, it keep me on risk to the point where I just hope I pull through. I hope it don't extend past, this time in December, because this is mid-month. I'm going to 10 past mid-December into January, because I'll really be pissed if that happens, because I don't know how I'm going to do. Because, at mid-January, we're going to spend no longer. Keep it spending it. It's not going to happen. He will do. And I am not freaking happy about it. I'm frustrated. Hopefully that, it doesn't go that long, because, you know what? I don't think any business in Hamilton can survive. I mean, there's already one business here in Hamilton right now I know about, the local restaurant, who guy owns it. I am so fed up with me being penalized for Toronto, being closed for almost 3 months, March, April, May, June, being closed that long, and we're not going to be closed again, and we don't want to get closed. Matter of fact, the person I know, he actually turned around. He bought a building in London, Ontario. They're in there renovating this building. You know what he's doing? He's moving his business out of Hamilton permanently because of this. He's sick and tired of, being penalized for Toronto. I think other businesses are going to follow suit too. Right now, I heard about 30, 40 businesses here in Hamilton already have looked at buildings in London, Ontario, moving to London, Ontario, starting to move in Ontario, because they don't want to be sitting there penalized for Toronto. And this keep going. Business keep moving out of Hamilton. There ain't going to be any jobs for anybody. And welfare roll going to triple like crazy. And you know what? The city don't have funds to do it. And the amount of new circles triple like crazy. Wow. So there's something, right there. It's just going to create out what Corona going to create, that COVID will create. Something that, is going to cost, city a million. People won't have any jobs. People be forced to move to other cities where they can get the access services because of that. And even when we get through this, restaurants ain't going to be there. Half of them will be moved out of business. Half of them will either file bankruptcy, just move to another city where they would be able to function proper. But they can't function like this. Impossible. Red Dome and Tempe, they can't function. A lot of them are going to shut their doors for almost that time and lose business. A couple of them are so fed up with it that one couple before them I know of are moving out of Hamilton to London, Ontario. If we're not going to shut our doors and lose money, why should we do this over Toronto? We're going to go someplace where we're far enough away in Toronto. We don't have to suffer every time Toronto ends up a high number of cases. So that's what really pissed me off. So I know 4 or 5 restaurants are planning to shut their doors for good on Monday, move and reopen in London, Ontario. So a few of them plan to move and reopen, I heard. I know even honest lawyers in over in Jackson Square, they said they might be closing their doors for good up. They moved mountain, but they actually may be moving to London, Ontario because of this, So these people are gonna, and more to come. They keep out more restaurant, more business will actually move to other areas in the green, just because of that, That already happened. Windsor, where people are fed up with the lockdown in Windsor, what did they do? They moved from Windsor to London because of that, They moved from one reason to another reason. The restaurants, some business owners finally moved to other reasons that are not in the red, because they can't afford, to shut down. They can't not afford it, They're just recovering from March. They're just starting to make money now, trying to get customers back, and all of a sudden, boom, they come along. They can't afford it. Several are going to have to be forced into bankruptcy. I know a friend of mine that owns City Fred. He can't afford another lockdown. He's already suffering, already in suffering from. Already trying to reopen the first one. He just starting to get over that, and then this one comes. Oh boy! I mean, a restaurant. Honestly, if I owned a restaurant in Hamilton, and honestly, if this was, happening to me, you know what I would have done? I would have gone down to London, find a building, lease or buy the building, permanently close it in Hamilton, reopen it in London, Ontario again, and move down there, reopen it, and then operate down there. At least I have to worry about being subbed into a freaking gray or red zone. That's what pisses me off. But Hamilton be subbed into that zone that we don't deserve to be there. Honestly, you people in Hamilton need to get up, shape up. You need to get on that phone tomorrow, start calling the NDP cat, start calling the PC cat, start calling, and also get on the phone and start calling Ontario Legislative Assembly, Doug Ford up, and demand him not to move Hamilton out of the red zone, because we cannot be operate that way. Hamilton will kill the city. And Doug Ford want to kill Hamilton. He can do a damn good job of killing Hamilton. Well, if we don't need that, it's going to kill the city completely. The people ain't going to do it. And that is a fact. They're going to kill Hamilton. This red level going to kill Hamilton. They need to freaking stand up, because they're going to kill business. Hamilton. Business can't function in the red level. But then people allow this. No way any bar or restaurant will able to operate that way. 10 customers at a time, that's impossible. They're not going to make the money to pay the rent, or to be running, and landlords are going to turn around and shut them down because they can't pay the rent. So, what does that tell me? It wouldn't be fair to anybody, and that's going to happen too. So, honestly, why is Hamilton suffering? That's what's going to happen. We're suffering already. We were just getting over March. You know what I'm talking about? Big lockdown March. Restaurant are paying the rent, and they were in $40 million restaurant, $40,000 in the red, because they couldn't open up and couldn't sell food, and now they're just getting out of getting out of the red, and now they hit with this. They can put them right back in the red again, and this time they'd be forced to file chapter of bankruptcy, because couple of them are, and few of them are in the green, have packed up. A couple of them, about 4 of them I know, are packing up in Hamilton and moving to London. That's in the green area. So what does that tell me? That we be infected we be infected here. Toronto get a high number of cases? No, Hamilton only got 20 or 30 cases. That's normal. Hamilton, Toronto, normal. Toronto have no cases. Well, what do you think? We have to suffer? No. Why should we suffer? I'm almost tempted to get a petition made up on the internet about this and circulate that around and to everybody in the city, and just get people sign it and do a 400-page long petition. Everybody who sign, every business will sign it and say, why should Hamilton have to suffer trying to get high numbers? And literally get a petition done. And then I'm going to send it, then I'm going to drop it off at the NDP headquarters and get everybody have a signed a petition, and I'm going to drop it off to the NDP, Paul Miller's office in person. I drop them or mail it to one or the other, and I'm going to turn around and we're going to say, and have that presented by Paul Miller up in the House with Doug, straight in front of Doug Ford. I read before him that we, the undersigned, says, why should we have to suffer when Hamilton and Toronto high numbers? That Hamilton is not like Toronto. Toronto is a big city. Hamilton is not. And I think if restaurant owners get together and they do a $1 billion lawsuit against the PC Party of Canada by suing millions of dollars worth for lost business revenue against Doug Ford and sue him for what he done, I think Doug Ford could, not be running anymore for But, I mean, you know, guaranteed that the election, the eventual election called today, huh, guaranteed he will lose a lot of votes over this. You know, guys. He will lose a lot of votes. If they call provincial election, I know he will lose a lot of freaking votes. Honestly, next election, I'm not even going to vote him. NDP get my vote before Doug Ford. If this had the NDP was Andrew Horwath in power was having, I think I would have done it a lot different. He would have probably not put Hamilton in red all the time. Like, no, Hamilton would be considered, not. We might be lockdown, may not be as long. Things like that, I think it'll be handled different at that. But this time with him, what had happened there, I mean, that's stupid. Why should Hamilton suffer over Toronto ignorance? People ignorant people, ignorant friggin' people spreading vibes. Why? That makes sense.